Assalamualaikum and good morning to all of you. How are you today? Are you feeling well or is there anybody who is feeling sick?
No, teacher.
You should take care of your health, especially during this COVID-19 season. So, have all of you taken your meal during recess just now?
Yes, teacher.
Glad to hear that. So, I assume that all of you are full of energy and can pay attention during my class. So, let us recall what have we learned during our previous class.
We watched the play Romeo and Juliet in computer lab.
Yes, it's true. So, what do you think about the story? Is it interesting or not?
Interesting, teacher.
Our topic today also has something to do with the play that we have watched last week. Before that, let us see the video together, okay?
Many stories have a protagonist and an antagonist. You remember Sherlock Holmes stories, right? Sherlock Holmes, the good detective, is the protagonist. Professor Moriarty, Sherlock's evil rival, is the antagonist. What about the story of the Three Little Pigs? Who are its protagonists and antagonists? How about The Wizard of Oz? Between Dorothy, who wants to return home, and the Wicked Witch, who tries to stop Dorothy from leaving Oz, who is the protagonist? Who is the antagonist? The protagonist is the main character or hero of the story. Readers empathize with the protagonist. The antagonist is the main opponent of the protagonist. Readers hope the protagonist will defeat the antagonist. In Peter Pan, who is the protagonist? Who is the antagonist?
After you watch the video, can you guess what are we going to learn today?
We are going to learn about character, protagonist and antagonist.
Yes, brilliant! We are going to learn about characters of protagonists and antagonists in the play Romeo and Juliet. But before we proceed, I want to write the learning objective first. Okay?
Okay.
Alright class, by the end of the lesson, all of you will be able to describe the character found in the play Romeo and Juliet. So, the topics that we are going to learn today is about the character in Romeo and Juliet. Actually, there are 6 types of character that you have to know, but in today's class, we are going to cover only 2 types of character, which are protagonist and antagonist, and the rest will be discussed during the next class. Okay, protagonist is defined as the main character or principal character or a group of character in the story. The word protagonist comes from an ancient Greek word meaning one who plays the first part, which is the actor. Protagonist is a synonym with the person who played the role as a good guy. The protagonist is at the center of the story, make the key decision and experiences the consequences of those decisions. The protagonist is the primary agent propelling the story forward and is often the character who face the significant obstacle. What makes us many stories interesting is the struggle that the protagonist has to go through to achieve um, his aim his aim. So, who do you think is the protagonist in the play Romeo and Juliet?
Romeo and Juliet are the protagonists, teacher.
Yes, it's true. They are the protagonists in the play. For your information, protagonist is not only the role of good person because they also can hold a role as a bad person. For the bad role, he is known as an anti-hero. We will look into detail in our next class, okay? So, do you have any question before we proceed to the to the antagonist part?
Teacher, I want to ask, is
Yes.
the protagonist is the same as hero or an heroine?
Oh, good question, Alisha. Yes, they are the same. However, not all protagonists is a hero or heroine. But you must remember that a hero or heroine is absolutely a protagonist. They have the similar character in the story, but not all protagonists is a hero or heroine because hero and heroine are being admired for their courage, outstanding performance, or noble nature. In the novel, play or film, they are usually known for their good qualities and the reader is expected to sympathize and at the same time admire the character that they bring. However, unlike hero or heroine, a protagonist is defined as the main character of a literary work and they can be anything as long as they hold a role as a good person. Do you get me now?
Yes, teacher.
Oh, okay. If that's so, let's continue to the antagonist part. Okay. The English word antagonist also come from the ancient Greek, which is meaning opponent, competitors, violent enemy, or viral. Okay. In storytelling, the antagonist is the primary opponent who works against the protagonist or leading character's goal and creating the main conflict. The antagonist can be one character or a group of characters and they are synonym with the bad roles. Other than that, they may also be the forces, event, organization, or creatures. An antagonist is also occasionally a neutral character who may represent a threat or obstacle to the main character by his or her existence, not necessarily by targeting him or her in a deliberate manner. Sometimes character may be antagonists without being evil because they may simply injudicious and unlikable for the audience in the play Romeo and Juliet. For example, in the play Romeo and Juliet, their family, which is the Capulet family and the Montague family, are the antagonists. Do you see this?
Yes.
Okay, this is because these two families are enemy of each other and they have prohibited their children, which are Romeo and Juliet, from making love. Do you understand?
Yes, teacher.
That's great. So, without further ado, let's do a little practice to test your understanding. I will write the question on the whiteboard and you will have to write it down and in the exercise book and answer the question, okay?
Okay.
Okay. After that, please send the exercise to me before the end of the class. Alright. I need a volunteer to come here and answer the question on the whiteboard. Someone want to
Teacher,
try?
I want to try.
Okay, come on, Alisha. Okay. Here. Answer. Okay. Okay. Place it here. The answer. Which one? Alright. Brilliant, Alisha. You managed to answer all the question correctly. Class, give applause to Alisha because she can answer all the question correctly. Okay, before we end this class, I will recap again what we have learned today with the lucky wheel. So, here is the lucky wheel. So, what is protagonist?
The main character or principal character or group of character in a story.
Yes, it's true. Protagonist is defined as the main character or principal character of or group of character in a story. They do not need to hold a good character because protagonist can also hold a bad character called anti-hero. Between this picture, which one? Who do you think is the protagonist?
Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, Romeo and Juliet. Excellent. Next, we will move to the antagonist part. So, what is antagonist?
The antagonist is the primary opponent of protagonist.
Yes, amazing. You managed to answer it well. It is true that the antagonist is the primary opponent or protagonist, and he or she is working against the protagonist or leading characters' goal and creating the main conflict. So, in this picture, who do you think is the antagonist?
The Capulets and Montague's family.
Montague's family. Yes, it's true. Great. All of you are brilliant. Protagonist and antagonist are both essential characters in the story, but they propel the plot in different and usually opposite way. I think everyone has understand the topic that we have learned today. Congratulations to all of you and give applause to yourself. Class, before that, I have made this crossword puzzle and I want all of you to do this at home and pass it to me in our next class. Can you do that?
Yes, teacher.
So, that's all for today. Thank you, class.
Thank you, teacher.